Manchester United fans, let's be honest with ourselves for one moment, because some of the noise I'm hearing right now makes absolutely no sense. Anyone calling for Ruben Amorim to be sacked simply does not understand what is really happening at this club. Look at the situation clearly. We have no squad depth. De Ligt is injured. Maguire is injured. Mainoo is injured. Bruno Fernandes picked up an injury. Ahmad is away at AFCON. Mbeumo is away at AFCON. Mazraoui is away at AFCON. And in the middle of all this chaos, people are shouting sack Amorim? How? With what logic? What exactly was he supposed to do today with the tools available to him? And even at that, this team did not play badly at all, especially away at Villa Park, one of the toughest grounds in the league right now. We went there, we competed, we controlled large parts of the game, but once again the same old problem showed up: we didn't take our chances. And then, as always in this league, individual brilliance from the opposition punished us? That, in simple terms, is the summary of this match. What hurts even more is that just when it feels like we are starting to make progress, everything suddenly snaps back to default. Today, honestly, I still struggle to understand how we didn't win this game. It was clear to see that we played better than Aston Villa in their own stadium. For the first time this season, we actually kept good possession away from home, we looked composed, we looked organised, and we didn't look like a team hanging on for dear life. We didn't play badly at all. But football at this level is cruel, one mistake can kill you, and today it happened twice. We failed to complete our marking, we switched off for moments, and you saw the kind of goals we conceded as a result. That's all it took. Aston Villa didn't dominate us, they punished us. For goodness sake, what exactly is going on with Lainery Euro? We conceded 2 goals today directly from poor defending on his side, and it's becoming a worrying pattern. He doesn't complete his marking, he doesn't stop the intruder early, he simply follows the runner and allows them to get the shot away. That is not defending at this level. And the most frustrating part is that this is not the first time, it's not the second time either, it keeps happening game after game. The only reason Euro is starting right now is because of the injury crisis we are dealing with, because if we are being honest, he should be on the bench learning, not starting important games. He doesn't commit to his tackles, he doesn't take responsibility in key moments, and it has already cost us twice this season. And yet people want to turn around and blame the coach for that? That is completely unacceptable. This situation just exposes the bigger issue: we need defenders, we need players, and we clearly lack quality and squad depth. This is not a coaching problem, this is a squad problem, and today it showed again. And let's not ignore the bigger picture. Aston Villa have now used this game to secure their 10th win in a row. This is not some average side. Before the match, I told you this was war, and some people thought I was exaggerating. I wasn't. This is exactly the level we are dealing with. To make matters worse, Bruno Fernandes picked up an injury during the game, and just when you think that opens a door for Mainoo to get his chance, he's injured too. It's one thing after another. We've already lost 3 key players to AFCON, and now we add Bruno's hamstring issue and Mainoo's injury to the list. Everything around this team feels like it's going from bad to worse, and in the middle of all that, people want to point fingers at the manager. That, for me, is completely unfair. Let's properly get deep into the game analysis of today, and I really want you to stay with me through this because there's a lot to unpack here. From the very start of the game, it was clear what our approach was. We set up with a compact midfield block, blocking the central areas high up the pitch and making it very difficult for Aston Villa to progress through the middle. The idea was simple and clear: cut off their passing lanes, force mistakes, and then punish them immediately on the counter-attack. And it worked, especially in the early stages. But the important thing is this: we did not just sit deep and wait. That's a big misconception. We combined that midfield block with intelligent pressing. We pressed Villa at the right moments, forced them to go long, and when they did, we were ready. We won our first and second balls consistently, and that helped us settle into the game and actually keep possession. This was very unlike us away from home. We looked comfortable playing out from the back, we looked calm in midfield, and Aston Villa weren't really pressing us aggressively, which allowed us to control large spells of the first half. In fact, the only moment Aston Villa had a truly clear chance in that first half came from a mistake, and that mistake came in midfield. Ugarte lost the ball, Villa reacted quickly, hit us on the counter, and that's when Lamens had to step in and save us. Apart from that moment, they didn't really carve us open. We were organised, disciplined, and in control. On the other hand, we also had our chances. Sesko had opportunities, Cunha had opportunities, but once again, we didn't take them. That story keeps repeating itself. And then, against the run of play, Aston Villa scored a ridiculous goal from outside the box. It was one of those strikes, powerful, unexpected, and even the goalkeeper didn't see it coming. Nothing you can really do about that, but one thing for sure, it was a bad defending from Leinari Euro. But what impressed me again was the reaction. As usual, just when we concede, we find a way to respond. We didn't drop our heads. We kept pressing, we kept forcing mistakes, and eventually it paid off. We won the ball high up the pitch, Villa made an error under pressure, and it fell perfectly for Matheus Cunha. He took it, punished them, and brought us level just before half-time. That equaliser was deserved, and it summed up our first half, disciplined, aggressive, brave, but once again let down by poor finishing before that. At half-time, Bruno Fernandes was forced off because of injury, and Martinez came on as we went into the second half. But the same mistake happened again. Once more, we failed to complete our marking, and once again, it cost us. We conceded 2 goals where no defender properly blocked the shot, no defender fully committed to stopping the intruder. Aston Villa scored twice, and both goals came from pure individual brilliance, from the same player, punishing the same defensive mistakes. What makes this more painful is that, overall, we actually controlled the game more than Aston Villa did. From start to finish, we had more control, more structure, and more periods of dominance. But football can be cruel. 2 moments of individual brilliance were all it took for Villa to win the game. Defensively, Heaven was the only player I consistently saw doing his job properly. He was aggressive, he was alert, and he was committed. On the other hand, I don't think Euro is ready to be starting games at this level right now. He is clearly out of form. He doesn't complete his marking, and this has happened multiple times this season. As a defender, if you are tracking a player, your job is simple: stop him from getting the shot off. That responsibility hasn't been fulfilled, and it's hurting the team badly. Our defense as a whole is leaking goals, and as for the goalkeeper, I won't say too much yet, but there are clearly areas he needs to improve on. These are things that cannot be ignored. Tactically, if you watched closely, you would notice something very interesting. Out of possession, we defended in a back 4. But when we had the ball, we shifted into a back 3. One of the wing-backs would drop into the defensive line to make it for when defending, and most of the time, it was Dorgu doing that job. This system actually worked structurally. The problem wasn't the shape, the problem was execution, concentration, and individual defending. Cunha was absolutely impressive today, and this is the kind of performance that sometimes goes unnoticed if you only look at the scoreline. Back-to-back goals now, and that alone already tells a story, but his impact in this game went far beyond just finding the net. Cunha was the instrument that allowed us to keep possession and breathe in difficult moments. He understands how to play with his back to goal, how to protect the ball, how to bring others into play, and he did that over and over again. He kept the ball intelligently, recycled possession when needed, and chose the right moments to drive forward. He didn't just wait for chances, he worked for them. He won duels, fought for loose balls, pressed defenders, and gave the team an outlet every single time we needed one. Even without the goal, he was already doing so much for the team, and the goal was simply the reward for that hard work. This is what you want from a player playing in that double number 10 role: intelligence, work rate, ball security, and end product. He clearly understands what that role demands from him, both on and off the ball, and it showed throughout the game. Now that he has scored in back-to-back games, confidence will only grow, his movements will become sharper, and his influence will increase even more.